Have you ever looked in the mirror and wondered why you don't quite fit in? It's like everyone else is part of a world you can see but can't touch, and no matter how hard you try, you can't seem to find your place in it. The feeling of being different isn't new to you, it's a part of who you are. But what if I told you that this difference isn't a mistake? What if I told you that everything you've experienced, every time you felt like an outsider, every moment you were pushed to your limits, was preparing you for something bigger than you ever imagined? I get it. I've been there. You know that gnawing feeling that no matter what you do, you just can't seem to fit the mold. I was there once too. It took years before I realized this was never about fitting in. It was about standing out, and not just standing out for the sake of attention, but standing out because you were meant for more. You were chosen for something extraordinary. It's a feeling that's hard to put into words, but you know it deep down, don't you? That whisper inside that says, you're not like them and you never were meant to be. In a world that often values conformity, being different is a burden. It feels heavy, like you're carrying the weight of the world on your shoulders. People tell you to be quiet, to dim your light, to stop asking questions, and to just follow the crowd. But deep inside, you feel something different. It's a fire that burns within you, a force that refuses to be extinguished. You've always known there's more, haven't you? That the world doesn't understand you yet, but one day it will. And when it does, it won't be able to ignore you. That's what I mean when I say you were chosen. You weren't chosen to follow the path others walked. You were chosen to blaze your own trail, no matter how difficult, no matter how lonely. You were chosen for a purpose that goes beyond what you can see right now, and even though you might not fully understand it yet, you are ready for it. It's time to stop hiding from who you are and start stepping into the person you were always meant to be. The mark of the chosen. Do you remember the moment you first realized you were different? It wasn't a choice. It was something that just happened. You weren't trying to be special, but it became clear that you were. Maybe it was when you walked into a room and felt the emotions swirling around you, even when no one said a word. Or maybe it was the way you could sense the unspoken tensions between people, the energy they tried to hide. You always saw things differently, didn't you? While others just accepted life as it came, you questioned everything. Why are things this way? Why do people act the way they do? What is the real truth beneath the surface? I had moments like that 2 times when I felt like an observer standing on the sidelines of life. It was like I could see things that others couldn't, and I felt like I was alone in that perception. I remember asking myself, why can't I just be like everyone else? Why does this awareness feel like a burden? It wasn't easy being different. But as I've learned, that very difference is what sets you apart. It's not a curse, it's a gift. And this gift has a name, the mark of the chosen. Being chosen doesn't mean everything will be easy. In fact, it often means the opposite. It means that people won't always understand you. They might even try to dim your light, to push you into a box that feels too small for you. They'll tell you to be quiet, to stop asking questions, to accept things the way they are. But deep inside, you know that you can't. You're not meant to accept the world's limitations. You're meant to break them. You see, the more you embrace your difference, the more you realize that it's not just a part of who you are, it's the essence of your power. It's not something you can ignore or push away. The mark of the chosen is the ability to see through the surface, to understand the truth others can't. It's the thing that makes you uncomfortable in a world full of illusions, and it's the thing that will one day elevate you above the noise. I know it's hard. The weight of knowing you're different can be heavy. People will misunderstand you. They'll call you too intense, too sensitive, too much. But let me tell you something, the world is wrong. You're not too much. You're exactly what this world needs. The world's resistance against you. As you begin to embrace the truth of who you are, you'll notice something strange happening. The world starts to push back. People who once seemed to support you might grow distant or worse. They'll actively work against you. Friends will become skeptical. Family members will question your choices. They won't understand your dreams, your vision, your purpose. And you'll wonder, why does it have to be this way? Why can't they just see what you see? Why can't they understand? I've been there too. When I started stepping into my power, I watched people I loved turn away from me. It felt like betrayal. It felt like rejection. And in those moments, I asked myself, Am I wrong? Is there something wrong with me for wanting something more? But here's the thing, the resistance you feel is not a sign that you're on the wrong path. It's a sign that you're on the right one. Because the world doesn't fight the ordinary, it fights the extraordinary. The resistance you face will come from places you never expect. It won't always be from enemies. It'll sometimes come from the people closest to you, the ones who smile in your face but secretly doubt you, the ones who plant seeds of doubt, making you question your worth. They'll try to pull you down because your light threatens their darkness. And if you're not careful, you might start to believe them. You might start to think that you're too much, too different, too bold. You might even start to wonder if you should just give up, settle down, and accept the ordinary life they want for you. But you weren't meant for an ordinary life. You were meant for greatness. The resistance you face is not proof that you're wrong, it's proof that you're right. The world doesn't challenge the ordinary, it challenges the extraordinary. And if you're facing resistance now, it's because you're stepping into your purpose. You're breaking free from the chains of the ordinary. And it's shaking the very foundation of the world around you. So don't be afraid of the resistance. Embrace it. The more the world pushes back, the closer you are to stepping into your true power. The world may not be ready for your story yet, but soon it won't be able to ignore it. The psychological and spiritual attacks. When the war is invisible, but the damage is real, you start to change. You begin to claim your truth. You stop hiding. And just when you think you're finally stepping into who you are meant to be, it hits. Not a physical blow, not something you can point to and say, "This is the wound." No, this attack is quieter, more sinister. It's the kind that comes when you're alone at night, staring at the ceiling, wondering if you're crazy. It's the whisper that says, "You're not good enough. You're a fraud. Who do you think you are?" I remember that night clearly. I had just left a job that drained my soul, ended a relationship that felt more like a cage, and committed to a path that felt both thrilling and terrifying. On the outside, I looked brave, but inside, I was breaking. The voices were loud. "You're going to fail. You're making a mistake. You'll end up alone." I couldn't escape them. They followed me everywhere, into my prayers, my journal entries, my quiet moments. That's when I realized this wasn't just mental, it was spiritual. It wasn't just about fear. It was about the battle for my identity. If you're here reading this, you know what I mean. The spiritual attacks don't show up like thunder. They show up like doubt, like confusion, like isolation. You start to feel distant from yourself, from God, from your intuition. You pray, but the answers feel distant. You try to meditate, but your mind won't stop spinning. You try to rest, but something keeps you on edge. It's like a storm is brewing inside and you can't find shelter. But here's the truth most people won't tell you. These attacks only come when you're becoming dangerous. The enemy doesn't waste energy on people who pose no threat. The spiritual warfare increases because you're getting closer. Closer to your calling. Closer to clarity. Closer to the version of you that terrifies the forces trying to keep you small. You are not weak for feeling this way. You are not broken for battling depression, anxiety, or spiritual fatigue. These attacks are not proof that you're off track. They are proof that you're exactly where you need to be. But you need to armor up. This season isn't about fighting harder. It's about fighting smarter. It's about protecting your mind, your heart, your energy, learning when to be still, learning when to speak truth over yourself, even when you don't feel it yet. You're not losing your mind. You're shedding old versions of it. The attacks don't define you, they refine you. The divine purpose behind your pain, everything you've survived has been shaping your story. There comes a moment, after the heartbreak, after the betrayal, after the 1,000 silent breakdowns, where you finally ask the question, why did I have to go through all of this? It's not a dramatic question. It's real, raw, honest, because pain changes you. It changes the way you see the world, and it especially changes the way you see yourself. I used to carry my pain like shame. I buried it deep, thinking that if anyone saw it, they'd see weakness. I thought the pain was proof that I had failed, that maybe I wasn't as strong as I hoped to be. But over time, I began to see the pattern. Every disappointment, it taught me discernment. Every heartbreak, it sharpened my empathy. Every loss, it showed me what truly matters. That's when I realized something that broke me open in the best way. My pain had a purpose. It wasn't punishment, it was preparation. Look back, think about everything you've survived. The things you didn't think you'd make it through, the moments you cried in silence, the nights you wanted to give up. You're still here, not just breathing, but growing. And maybe, just maybe, all of that wasn't meant to destroy you, it was meant to develop you. Your pain wasn't random. It was the curriculum for your calling. Pain teaches in ways peace never could. It humbles you, it deepens you, it gives you eyes to see what others miss. People trust those who have been through something, who have wrestled with the dark and come out not perfect, but honest. Your scars make you credible. Your story makes you powerful. It's okay to mourn what hurt you, but don't stop there. Don't just survive it, understand it. Let it speak. Let it shape your mission. Because when you stop asking, why me? And start asking, what now? That's when the purpose reveals itself. You were never meant to suffer in silence. You were meant to rise and say, I've been through it, and here's what I've learned. Your pain is your power. Don't waste it. The turning point, rising from the ashes. This is where everything begins to change. There's a moment that feels like the end. You're sitting in the ruins of what used to be your life. Relationships gone, dreams delayed, faith shaken, and it's quiet, almost too quiet, like life has hit pause and you're not sure if it's ever going to press play again. But that's exactly when something shifts. For me, the turning point wasn't some grand revelation. It was a Tuesday. It was raining. I had nothing left to prove, no one left to impress. I was done pretending I had it all figured out, and in that emptiness, something sacred happened. I heard a voice, not loud, not dramatic, but firm. You're still here. That means you still have work to do. That voice, it changed everything. That's the thing about ashes. They seem like the end, but they're also the beginning. Ashes are proof that fire came through, but they're also the soil for rebirth. And maybe that's what this moment is for you. Not a collapse, a clearing. You've been burned, but you're not broken. You've lost things, but you've found truth. And now, with no mask, no illusion, no pretense, you begin again. And this time, you're building from wisdom, from experience, from fire-forged strength. This turning point isn't about reinventing who you are. It's about returning to who you've always been underneath all the fear. You're not starting over, you're starting from power. Let them say you changed. Let them say you disappeared and came back different. Because they're right, you did change. You're not who you were before the pain. You're better, sharper, clearer. You know who you are now, and you know you'll never go back. From this point forward, everything is different. The world hasn't seen the real you yet, but it's about to. The path to true power. True power doesn't come from control, but from surrender. There was a time in my life when I believed that power was about being in control, controlling my circumstances, controlling my emotions, controlling the people around me. I lived my life trying to maintain order, afraid that the moment I loosened my grip, everything would unravel. But the tighter I held on, the more I felt like I was drowning. It was exhausting, suffocating, and ultimately unfulfilling. My life was like a house of cards, and every time the wind blew a little too hard, I watched everything collapse. It wasn't until a defining moment that I understood. True power doesn't come from control. It comes from surrender. This realization came in a season of complete breakdown. I had been pushing for so long, trying to make everything work, when in reality, everything was already working against me. It was then that I allowed myself to stop trying to control everything, to stop managing my emotions, to stop planning every move, and to start trusting that the process was bigger than my limited understanding. True power, I've learned, is about resilience. It's about not letting the weight of the world crush your spirit. It's about not allowing the setbacks to make you believe you've lost your way. Instead, it's about finding strength in vulnerability, about learning how to navigate life's chaos with grace. When I finally let go of my need to control, I stepped into the most powerful version of myself I had ever known. The path to true power is not about being unshakable. It's about being flexible. It's about bending, not breaking. It's about trusting the process, even when the outcome is unclear. It's about embracing the unknown and knowing that whatever happens, you'll rise stronger. The path to true power is paved with acceptance, humility, and the willingness to move forward even when everything around you seems uncertain. you see. True power doesn't come from manipulating or forcing the world to bend to your will. It comes from allowing yourself to evolve, to grow, and to stay true to your purpose despite the storms that rage around you. It's not about dominance, it's about alignment. Aligning with your higher self, your purpose, your truth, and the divine flow of life. The more you align with that energy, the more powerful you become, not because you have control, but because you've learned to move with the flow. This is the path I took, and while it wasn't easy, there were moments of doubt, moments of fear. It was the most rewarding journey I've ever been on. I found that the less I tried to control, the more control I actually had over my own life. I was no longer at the mercy of external forces. I had discovered the quiet power that comes with knowing who you are and trusting that the universe is always working in your favor, even when you don't see it. True power comes when you stop trying to force life to be what you want it to be and start accepting it as it is, allowing life to shape you rather than trying to shape it. The moment I accepted that, everything shifted. My relationships deepened, my career flourished, my heart opened in ways I never imagined, and most importantly, I became the truest version of myself. The revenge of silence lets success speak. Sometimes the most powerful statement is the one you don't make. It's an uncomfortable truth, but here it is. You don't need to explain yourself to anyone. You don't need to justify your decisions or defend your path. There's a power in silence that most people fail to recognize. In a world that constantly demands validation, where everyone is shouting for attention, the ability to stand in silence and let your actions speak for themselves is one of the most potent forms of revenge you can have. I'll never forget the first time I chose silence. It was when people started to question my decisions, when friends and family doubted my new direction, when colleagues ridiculed my ambitions, and when critics came out in full force. The temptation to fight back was overwhelming. I wanted to explain myself, to argue my point, to make them understand my vision. But in that moment, I remembered something my mentor had once told me: people don't need to understand your journey, they just need to see where you end up. That was the turning point. Instead of defending myself, I chose to focus on my work. I poured myself into my purpose, letting the results speak for themselves. And in the silence of my actions, I found a profound sense of power. Success began to become my answer. With every project I completed, with every milestone I reached, I watched as the doubts of others faded into the background. No words were necessary. My success was doing all the talking. The revenge of silence is not about getting back at those who doubted you. It's about realizing that you don't need anyone's approval to live your truth. When you stop explaining, defending, or justifying yourself, you create space for your own growth. You let your actions tell the story of who you are, not the opinions of others. And over time, people will either rise to meet you or fall away. Either way, you'll be too focused on your journey to notice. Silence isn't weakness, it's strength. It's the power to stand firm in your beliefs and let the universe work in your favor. It's the confidence to know that your success will speak louder than any words could ever do. So when faced with criticism or doubt, remember, your silence is your weapon. Let your success do the talking. Let the results speak for themselves. Conclusion: your story is far from over. As I sit here reflecting on this journey, on the lessons I've learned, the battles I've fought, and the growth I've experienced, I realize that this is just the beginning. The chapters I've shared with you are only the starting point. Your story is far from over. In fact, it's only just beginning to unfold. Each challenge you've faced has brought you one step closer to your true self. Every tear, every moment of doubt, every setback has been a part of the process that is shaping you into the person you were always meant to be. And while the road may have been difficult, it has also been beautiful. You've learned, you've grown, and you've become stronger than you ever imagined. But here's the thing, this journey doesn't stop here. The lessons continue. The growth never ends. Every day is an opportunity to step into a new version of yourself, to evolve, to rise. And no matter where you are right now, no matter what you've been through, remember this: you are exactly where you need to be. The power you're seeking is already inside of you. It's been there all along, waiting for you to tap into it. So don't rush the process. Don't be afraid of the challenges ahead. Embrace them, trust them, because they're not just obstacles, they're opportunities. Opportunities for growth, for transformation, for true power. And when the next chapter of your story begins, know that it will be even greater than the one before. You've already made it this far, and I have no doubt that you'll keep rising, keep evolving, and keep becoming the person you were always meant to be. Your journey is just beginning, so go ahead, step into your power. The world is waiting for you.